Well, actually, no, I'm not kidding here. You know what'll make it feel better? It's if you cry about it.
Raising Nashville, Raising Nashville, Raising Nashville, Raising Nashville.
I feel like I should be lassoing something with our theme song, like.
Welcome to this week's episode of Raising Nashville. I'm Bucky.
Juicebox.
Oh boy.
And we have something very special in store for you guys today. We have a much anticipated sequel to a previous podcast we did called What the Hell Did We Do?, which covered the first 9 months of you finding out that your wife is pregnant to when you, basically the night, you pack everything up and you head on down the road to the hospital and pop that thing out.
That's right.
So
I want to jump in here. Before we record this episode, do you guys want to make any predictions? Sequels in general, they're sometimes a little worse than the original.
that is very accurate, and we're referring to movies here. So let's talk about a couple of sequels that were better than the original to get us hyped up for today's episode.
Okay, sure.
Godfather 2.
Ocean's 12. So my prediction is that this sequel is going to be better than the first one because it's going to. This is very improv, and I feel like it's going to be solid.
Okay, that's
my
correct.
prediction.
So we called the first episode 4, referring to Star Wars, What the Hell Did We Do? And we want to follow that up with the, again, highly anticipated sequel that we're about to bring to your ear holes today. It is called Episode 5.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
And that is probably how some of you feel out there when you find out it is time to go to the hospital. So today we want to cover from the time you found out to basically when you got the kid back home.
Yeah. So now, we're taking it to that next stage. You've been prepared. You're ready. You're just waiting, and now the day has arrived.
And this can be a scary thing because for some people's case, you don't know when it's going to happen. For some people, you kind of have a pre-scheduled idea of when it's going to happen because you set up like a C-section or a birthing operation. Is that a thing? Is that a term?
Yeah.
Birthing
sure.
operation. It sounds right.
Yeah. Let me ask Dr. Hay.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, Dr. Hay agrees. The time you found out, now that's a big one for you guys out there that are anticipating having children. You might be pregnant right now. You might be thinking about having kids, but a big thing that people want to, for us to talk about and know is,
Who won the gambling slot, right? The squares?
The what?
Who won the gambling squares?
The baby shower. No. I don't know if we really want to get into the baby shower.
No, we didn't even talk about it. That would have been in the last episode, so maybe this will be a better episode.
So, and from what I understand, we have 3 different perspectives on this. On, the time that your wife says it is go time, and
right.
in our household, it was called baby time. We had a keyword, and it was basically, when you say it's baby time, that means that's it. You can't send me any false ones.
Yeah.
You can't turn into the boy who cried wolf. So I need to know one time it's baby time.
I actually told my wife it was time.
God. Yeah, you're looking a little pregnant there. It's about time to go to the hospital.
Hey, let's wrap this up. I got like a couple of hours. I got to work Monday. Can we do it now?
Let's go knock this out.
Yeah. No, for me, and I'll get started here, it was a intense situation, right? So I'm thinking back on it, and it's Memorial Day, 2017? Memorial Day 2017. And are you laughing because I had to jog that a little bit?
A little bit, yep.
So it's Memorial Day 2017, and things are going great. Great Memorial Day out on the boat, and then, we're partying at the house, and everybody's gone, and it's time to go to bed, right? So she goes to bed. I think, man, I have the day off tomorrow. This is Sunday of Memorial Day. I've got the day off. I can do whatever I want tonight. This baby's going to be born in the near future. I might as well get it out. So what did I decide to do? I stayed up really late, and I put on TV, and I started watching the movie Funny Games. So I'm up and I'm drinking. I'm having a great time. It is about, I'd say, 3 o'clock in the morning by the time this is over. And I'm like, all right, I guess it's time to go to bed. I can sleep in tomorrow. I go lay down on the bed. I am not shitting you guys. 45 minutes later, I get tapped on the shoulder and she said, it's baby time. And I was like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah, so...
You went outside, started chain smoking cigarettes.
No, and it was more really hectic. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Blow, but when Johnny Depp's like grabbing the baby bag to go to the hospital, it's like full of cocaine, and he just stops and does a line and then goes down to the hospital. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that, but without the cocaine.
Okay.
So we jump out of bed, and I'm all disoriented. I grab the 9-year-old. He was, 7 then. I wake him up in the middle of the night. He's like, what in the hell is going on? He didn't use hell, but, you get the gist. And I'm like, your mom's about to have a baby. And he's like, nuh-uh. So he's immediately, wired and up and ready to go and help in any way he can. I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm like, dude, you got to come down here and watch this kid. Wake up, Mom. Get over here. And she was like, how much time do I have? And I'm like, 5 minutes, and she lives a good 20 minutes away. So,
do you really call your mom dude?
I bet he does.
Yeah,
dude, you need to get that ass over here.
It is hectic. We jump in the car. I'm driving. No kidding, about 105 miles an hour down the interstate because this is my first time.
Are you still drunk?
No, I'm not.
Super safe.
45 minutes is not enough time.
I mean, you're actually going to tell us that Asher was right in the back of the truck.
So we're driving 105 miles an hour down the interstate. It is 4:15 in the morning. No cars on the street. I'm not planning on stopping. I'd stopped at no red lights. I got there. And that will forever stick with me. And then, you obviously get in the hospital. She's pregnant, and the lady's like, oh, you got to fill out this paperwork. And I'm like, fuck, we do. Get this girl back in a room here. She looks like she's struggling. She's like, oh, don't worry, honey. Just fill out this paperwork. We'll get you back there in plenty of time. And I was not having it.
I'm guessing she had probably witnessed at least one pregnancy before. So she was an expert on how long it would take.
I have a question. Did you bring a cooler?
I did not bring a cooler. Why did I stop and pack a cooler on the way down there? I'm going to tailgate in this doctor's office.
I don't know. Well, you came back from, the boat. I figured maybe you probably had a pre-packed cooler, man.
Yeah, just the leftovers that came with us.
Who knows? Okay. So you got down there, and it was what time at night, do you think? Or morning?
I'd say 4:15, 4:20 in the morning.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I had 45 minutes of sleep, and it was go time. I didn't sleep for the next 2 days, so that's kind of a precursor to how the hospital visit went.
It was a lot different than that for us, and I feel I don't know, it was still kind of stressful, but not anyway like that. Our kid was breech, so they had tried several things to flip him around so Dana could have a natural childbirth, and none of that worked. So we basically had a week out. We scheduled a C-section. So we knew for a week, okay, we're going to the hospital on a Wednesday, and at 1 p.m. we're going back there, and then allegedly we're going to have a baby an hour later or whatever.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It seriously went down like that. We went in there just like a normal day. I think Dana and I maybe went to lunch beforehand, or, I was off work and our appointment wasn't until later, so we had breakfast at the house or something. It was just nice little, almost like a day off. Her family was coming in town, so we just get to the hospital. We're sitting in the waiting room hey, we're here to have a baby. And they're like, okay, just fill out this paperwork. So it was not like your situation, Bucky. It wasn't stressful at all. We're just like, okay, yeah, no big deal. We'll fill out this paperwork. Then Dana's family gets there, and we're all just hanging out in the waiting room, just waiting to go back and have this kid.
Dang.
So you didn't have the heavy metal experience that I had.
No.
You had more of the easy listening.
That's wild.
Sunday afternoon drive
100%. And that's what I'm saying. It's still stressful. And Dana was understandably nervous because she's never had any type of surgery before, and having a C-section is a major surgery. So, there was that whole nagging thing. We were both thinking about that. I can't say it was totally stress-free, but at the same time, it just felt very controlled, which was great for both of us.
Right. And it's also a routine operation too, right?
Yeah. It was so bizarre. She had the epidural, they numbed her up. We're hanging out for 15 minutes. We go back into the operating room. We see her doctor. So that's an immediate release. This lady's cool and been super nice and giving us seemingly great advice throughout the whole thing. So seeing her was awesome. So we get in there, And it's like going down. I'm sitting there with Dana. They're like, "Do you want the screen up?" And we were both just like, "Fuck yes." Neither one of us want to see this thing like actually.
Oh,
We
come out
don't.
of
We
the
don't want to see
stomach.
the operation.
I'm
like
the opposite.
see, I mean, more power to you, honestly. The people in there that were doing the operation us just start talking about their kids in school and like looking for a place to live and just like total normal life conversation.
Water
like
cooler.
why are they doing this thing? Yeah, and we're both just like it was kind of weird, but it was also kind of relaxing,
Reassuring.
Well, yeah, because they were so comfortable with what they were doing. It was just like they could have another conversation and talk about other stuff going on. And meanwhile, me and Dana are just like so tuned into each other at that point. Like you kind of tune it out anyway.
Sure.
So it's just like we go in there and 5 minutes later they pull a baby out and he's screaming, and since he was breech, his legs were all like bow-legged out. I mean, it was hilarious, and he looks like a tiny little alien. And they had to tell me, they're like, "Get your phone out and start taking some pictures," because I was just like mouth open, like, oh my god.
Alive! It's alive!
No.
It's alive!
No, my experience was a lot like yours. We went to bed, I don't know, like 9 o'clock at night, 9, 10, and just a regular old night. And we knew we were close. We were around our date, but you never know when. So we go to bed, and I don't know, we're asleep for maybe an hour, and then she gets up to go to the bathroom. She's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "All right." And as soon as, I'm not even sure, she didn't tell me her water broke. I think I heard it in her voice, and immediately my senses were heightened, and I was like that. I felt like Uma Thurman in Kill Bill when it's like, I was like, all right, it's on. So I think we had a pre-packed bag, so we grabbed our shit. We just very calmly just got in the truck and just headed on down there. And the whole time, like, the Doors, "This Is the End" is playing in my head, and like I get down to the hospital. It's very calm. It's I don't know, 10, 11, 12 at night, and we get down there. There's nobody else there. We walk in. Everything was very calm, man. I found a parking spot. I was like, okay, got her out, and then we went up, checked in, got in there, and we were there, and we're in some shitty little room, and it's like, all right, man. Her OBGYN did not make it. Did yours make it?
Did not. Was on vacation.
Yeah, supposedly, right?
Yeah, they're always supposedly on vacation at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I think it's a lie, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a lie. I think they're just like, we'll just tell them that. We'll use the resident
I love how
baby doctor.
I love how you said found a parking spot, because my experience was a little different. I rolled up like I just had a fucking gunshot victim or in the car. It's like Reservoir Dogs when like Tim Roth is in the back and Harvey Keitel is in the front, and like I just roll up to the hospital, just swing the door open. I mean, no flashers on or anything, and get her in there.
Don't you fucking die on me.
I mean, it was like a movie.
Yeah, we were actually very calm, collected, but I mean, still, like in my mind, I'm in freak out mode,
So you get there, and like you two have touched on a little bit, you got epidurals. My wife got an epidural, but it was too late. So we want to talk about, once you got to the hospital, how long did it take for the baby to come out? How long were you in labor, right? Which kind of plays on mine was, it was so heavy metal balls to the wall, and we got there and they put that epidural in within, I'd say, 5 or 10 minutes of us being there, and then she had that baby like 7 minutes later. I don't even think the epidural got to kick in. It didn't kick in, and I specifically remember that because she has this baby. I'm scrunching with her and like trying to show that I'm pushing or whatever, and I'm assisting in that. And then the epidural kicks in after the baby comes out. So it must have been extremely painful. And then we have to wait in that room for another like 4 to 5 hours before the epidural goes through the process of going through her body, which that is crazy.
Like you had to be in recovery area for that long. You couldn't get up to the room.
The entire time. No, we didn't even go to a room. We stayed in the room.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You couldn't go up to another room.
No, she had to stay there for like the next 4. So I had to sit there. Baby wasn't there. Like it was...
Yeah.
Oh, the baby was in the nursery?
I think so.
Oh,
they had taken it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's the same kid that they brought back?
That is definitely Bucky's kid.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Big head, forehead.
He looks just like it.
Big
man.
cheeks. What'd you say, Kenny Rogers?
He is going to be a country music singer for sure.
Yeah.
He's got the name for it too.
So how long was your wife in labor?
Hours, man, which is it was I don't know, maybe 8 hours. That's a long time to go without eating, you know.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I didn't eat anything that time.
It's a long time for you to go without eating.
Absolutely. No, she was born in the morning, so we went in at night, and it was sometime like early the next morning, like 6 or 7. So it was a long time. They gave her an epidural. It didn't. And I was really interested in watching it. So like they put it in her back and it wasn't taking or something. So they had to keep doing it. And like she's bleeding and it's clearly very painful for her. And it would just, makes it very painful for me, right?
It's painful for me right now just hearing you say
it. It was rough. And I mean, she hated it. And, but it took a little while, so we had a little bit of a waiting time. So I got to like try to sleep in that room, which is like trying to sleep on a park bench.
Oh, man.
And it's, it was terrible.
At least on a park bench, you're probably drunk or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But this was, so we waited around and it was tense, but I mean, we didn't know any better either. So we were on pins and needles.
Sure.
Yeah.
And is there labor involved with C-section?
There is for some people. Some people go into labor and then have to have a C-section.
yeah.
But Dana's was just scheduled since he was
Right.
breached. Like he
Gotcha.
wasn't going to be. It was if he was going to come out. He couldn't come out naturally, or else
Sure.
it would have been a danger to him and Dana. So
And that's a scare to all of you people out there. So just take heed that these people do have the expertise to do this. They do it on a daily basis. It's a very low risk procedure. And, if it's that you said breach, that's
the baby is flipped up their butt first instead of head first.
Yeah, so
or head down, their butt down instead of head down.
and some people the umbilical cord wraps around
Yeah.
things, and you just got to get that baby out. So don't fear
Yeah.
that naturally or unnaturally.
I don't want to discount it though, because it is a major surgery, and it's a pretty people. Dana did pretty good on her recovery time, but some people have worse recoveries from it.
Sure.
The people are experts, but man, it's no joke.
Right.
Okay, so baby comes out. Do you cut the umbilical cord?
I bit into mine
Oh, God.
with my teeth.
Is that some kind of family ritual?
Yeah, it goes back generations.
Does it?
No, I cut mine. Did you?
I did. I didn't want to. It's like cutting through raw chicken. I mean,
I
you don't. The
did
first
not.
time you get to raw chicken, you don't know how to cut through it that well.
Yeah, it's kind of tendony. I mean,
Yes.
it's like it's a cord. I mean, it's a cord.
Yeah. So you cut it, but
Yeah.
also you're in the operating room. Juice Box, you said that there was a curtain between the two, so you didn't actually see it.
No, I could have looked past the curtain, and I did when they first pulled him out, but I didn't want to watch the whole process because I didn't want to watch the surgery.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I would get that, but
I
some
would
people
watch.
want to watch their
I
babies
would
being
watch.
born. So you see back in the day on those like Doogie Howser shows, the guys with the big old cameras like filming the birth of their child. Now that is something I disagree
What a
with.
weird reference, but yeah. Okay.
You just want to see that once if you want to see it. To be honest with you, you don't want to replay that thing unless
Sure.
the mom wants to watch too.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
gets kinky.
Surgery.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That is a
Not
specific
surgery.
kink.
Yes. So did you watch?
I did watch. I watched the whole. Watched my daughter come through the birthing canal. Is super gross. It changed my mind about a lot of things.
Sure.
It was life changing. It's also very magical and moving and all that, but it's gross.
It is. It is gross. So I watched from the woman's perspective. My head was up there by her head. I was holding her arm and I was looking down. And I do remember, the head comes out and you kind of hear something, and then that body just like pops out.
You're
I
right.
mean, and when they talk about almost having to catch a baby, once that head comes through, that thing just shoots out.
You were right. I was very surprised by that. It was like a water slide.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. Just one that was very brown and green mixed.
And yeah, there's fluid. There's that afterbirth is different. It's
God. It's like a water slide in Shawshank Redemption. Like
You're right.
Not all coming out.
Andy Dufresne.
No.
You did it just so I would say it.
So the
Thank
baby
you.
comes out and you cut the umbilical cord. Now it's time for the hospital stay.
Well, I want to talk about something real quick before we do that. So they brought the kid out, and then they like she was like a market caught fish. Threw her in a scale to weigh her.
Oh, yeah,
And her little leg. She's got the afterbirth. Just gross, right? And they just tossed her in there like man, look how big this one is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is okay, cool. How many pounds? Okay.
But don't they say you're supposed to smack the baby after it comes out if it hasn't cried yet?
Yeah, I think they did that.
Yeah, maybe.
Wives' tale.
Yeah, I think they did that. They cleared the mucus from her face and her nostrils and all that. And she cried right up. But they threw her in that little thing, man. And I was like, whew. I was like, this is wild. And then we had paid for something. It's like a stem cell kind of thing, so it actually keeps part of the umbilical cord.
Okay.
So in case in the future, if she gets sick, they can actually use that to maybe treat her.
Holy shit.
Right.
Whoa.
It was
Science.
Dr. Hay, dude. So
Did he suggest that?
I was shocked because they showed up with like a suitcase and were like, where's the stuff? And I was like, oh God, here it is, man. You know, like we met over in a corner. I gave it to them. They'd left.
You open it and it's like opening the suitcase from Pulp Fiction.
Right. Yeah. And then we put it in there and then they left. And I wonder about that. Let me make a note. I need to follow up on that.
This
You
episode,
still don't know where the umbilical cord is?
No, they go store it. I don't know. Maybe in one of those.
Cryogenically?
Yeah. Like under
you guys remember the
Denver's
end of,
airport.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's where it's at.
That's where it's in that
Real quick,
warehouse.
Are we trying? Is there some secret game that's going on into how many Quentin Tarantino references we could squeeze into this podcast?
It seems like a lot.
Hey,
Maybe Quentin Tarantino movies are like having a child. We're just paralleling.
Just bloody, a lot of cursing.
Yeah, a lot of murder. Okay, so you've successfully had this child. It's out. It's crying. Either it goes to the nursery for a little bit so they can like acclimate it to certain things in the world. You get moved to your corner room suite at the Hilton for the next 2 nights inside the hospital, which I believe we've all had our children at the same hospital, which is Baptist here in Nashville, correct?
Right.
Or St. Thomas.
St. Thomas.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Baptist turned into St. Thomas.
Oh, okay.
I was born there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
And
born there, too.
Our kids were born there. I think my mom was born there. And
That's a great hospital.
it
Yeah.
really is. Shout out to formerly known as Baptist Hospital, St. Thomas Midtown.
Yeah.
If you're looking to have a baby in Nashville, that's where you should go. That's our plug for St. Thomas Midtown. They also do hearts.
You think they'll pay us?
I don't know.
They'll probably pay us to not mention the
Yeah,
name.
they're like, hey, omit us.
So we go to the hospital room and
Well, wait a minute. Don't they give you get to hold your child there? They clean her off,
oh
clean
yeah,
him or
I
her
forgot
off.
about skin time, or it's like skin to
Yeah.
skin is what they
Yeah.
call it, and that's how babies when a baby's born, you want to take the naked baby and put it on the naked mother's chest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called skin to skin,
Yeah.
and that's a big
thing.
development for that child at the very first stage of his life.
That was such a surreal moment for me. I don't know about you guys. Like, was your kid's eyes open at that point?
Kind of.
I mean, I
yeah.
know they can't really see you, but his were open, and it was just like, holy. Yeah, this kid is just like looking directly into my soul.
It's looking at you like you're responsible for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That is
Exactly.
scary, looking into your soul.
I mean,
straighten
it wasn't scary. Honestly, it just made my like heart melt. Like,
Right,
yeah.
For as hard of a person as I thought, not that I'm hard, but it's like you go through life portraying yourself as, being a tough guy or not being super emotional or whatever. But you see your kid for the first time and it's just like, forget about that. There's like, I'm crying. Like, I'm just looking at Dana and crying, looking at this kid and crying. Like,
Yep.
it's moving. It's the most moving thing in the
it
world.
really
man.
is, man.
Yep.
Yeah, super, super tight. Yeah, they give you that kid, and it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is different. Everything prior doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot.
That's
I mean,
true.
it is, and it's been leading up to this, and this is it.
I know it's like it plays a close second to Avengers Endgame. Yeah.
When I was
so far, I've invested a lot more in the build up to Endgame than you did in my own kids. So you're not far off. On
so many hours.
Yeah.
Did the Lion King song play when you guys pulled your kid out?
Dude, pulled him out of what?
That vagina.
No.
Boom, boom.
No, I did not hear that.
I paid extra, and
No, I think mine was more like the Beautiful People entrance to Marilyn Manson song.
mine was still The Doors. This is the end. It's a really long song.
Oh, so you're in the hospital room and you're clothed again. Baby's out. Baby's been in the nursery. Baby comes back. They bring the baby back in a couple of hours later, and at this point, things start to set in. You're preparing for family and friends to bombard you, coming to the hospital, which I'm against. I think there should be a certain time for that. I mean, it's cool to be there. I remember being at Juicebox's birth, and I never saw him, his wife, or the kid.
Yeah, and I mean, no offense to that. Like, everybody has their own thing, but just to go along with what you're saying, like, we didn't really want anybody there. Like, we wanted our moms there and
Sure.
Dana's sister, and, like, her dad and stepdad came that first day, and her brother also. But it was just like, it was overwhelming. Like, I didn't want to visit visitors, like.
Sure.
Then you feel like you're having to entertain them in a way or something.
You're hosting. You're hosting in the hospital.
That was the last thing either one of us had to deal with. So no offense to any of our friends out there that we said don't come to the hospital, but
Yep. I came to both of y'all's.
Yeah.
I think both of y'all came to mine.
Yeah.
I did not.
Did you not?
No,
Okay.
for that same reason. Like, I just felt like that's family time.
Speaking of drinking in the hospital, I did bring you a bottle of Blanton's.
You did.
For your 2-night hospital stay.
Dang.
I still have some left too, man.
Did you
Good bourbon.
consume any Blanton's in the hospital?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know
I
if
didn't.
that's the
I
place.
mean, yeah.
It's true. You're going off no sleep. Alcohol is only going to make things worse. So we're in the hospital. Do you guys have any fun hospital stories? Like, you're there for pretty much 2 days, 2 to 3 days, depending on how the pregnancy goes. And, for the guy, obviously, supporting sleeping in the hospital, going and getting things, you're kind of like a little workhorse for the next couple of days. We're making sure the baby's acclimated, but mainly that baby needs its mom the first couple of days. Again, that skin to skin time.
Right.
Just, so you're obviously sleeping in the hospital. You touched on earlier that they're the most comfortable benches in the entire world.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sorry, St. Thomas Midtown, but we've got to upgrade, the alternative sleeping areas for fathers.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but shit, I don't care. As long as my wife is comfortable, that's really all that matters.
I would take one of those like kindergarten sleeping mats over that bench and just sleep on the floor.
That's basically what it is on a
On a
slab
of wood,
Yeah.
hard wood.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get very much sleep. Prepare for that. Specifically in the hospital, what I remember too is when Levon was born, the Predators, the 20-something-year-old hockey team here in Nashville, finally apexed to the top of the NHL and were in the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time ever in their franchise history. And I would have been following along. I went to most of the playoff games, and I was so into the Predators right then. And she has the baby night one, game one of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Damn.
That can be an intense time, especially if you've been to all of them. You actually had tickets to this game, and instead you're having a kid. I don't regret that.
Are you sure? You're making it sound like an itchy kid.
We lost game one, so I don't regret it. But so the Predators in the Stanley Cup Finals, I'm so jacked up. It's the first night, game one, and nobody is around in this hospital. Nurses haven't come in for a while. You've got that crappy little TV up in the corner, and I've got it on the game. So, I mean, every time something happens, we're scoring, we score a goal, I just start screaming, right? And that is something you might want to stay away from in the hospital, because like 2 nurses come in, and they don't know what's going on, and they start freaking out thinking something's wrong.
Yeah, as they should.
Yeah, the hospital's probably not a great way to do that. I remember going on later in the night, the other team scores a couple of goals, and we're down 2-1, I believe, in that first game. And then we score another goal, and instead of screaming, I open the door and run down the hallway and just start screaming then. So I figured they wouldn't come to the room.
Was your chest painted?
No, my chest is not.
No, his face
I had some
was.
face paint on.
Face paint?
Yeah, and then so I'm running down this hallway and just going nuts, and there's this guy cleaning the floors. And if you've been to a hospital late night, you'll see them cleaning the floors, and they ride this vehicle to clean the floors. It looks kind of like a Zamboni. So I run down to this guy, nobody else around. It's like a John Carpenter hospital here. I mean, it's completely gone. Nobody's there. He's there. He's driving down the hallway, and I just run up and I'm like, Zamboni guy, give me a high five. And he denies the high five.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man, what a
So
jerk.
he was...
Must not have been a Predator
yeah, I was
fan.
gonna say-
Yeah. What, man.
right? And then I
Yep.
go back to the hospital, watch the rest of the game, we lose. So that's my first night in the hospital.
Man, you said multiple nights in the hospital. I think we were only there one night, besides
Really?
the night we went in.
Really?
I think they kicked us out like next day. And I was like, oh shit, like we had to go home now.
It's busy baby
Like,
season.
it must have been because I felt like we were not there long at all. And then
Yeah,
it was
we were-
like go time.
Since Dana had a C-section, we were there for 3 nights, I think, because they hold them an extra day
Over, yeah.
just for the recovery.
Yep.
I don't have any good fun stories or nothing like that. I don't feel like ours was pretty straightforward. It was kind of a blur. I mean, well, it wasn't a blur. Some parts of it were, but it was great. We never turned on the TV once. But I had a little Bluetooth speaker in there. We just listened to like chill music for like 3 days straight. Like
That sounds a lot more peaceful.
it was great.
Yeah, no screaming, no running down the hallway. No,
No, nothing like that.
No hiding that
No.
cooler underneath
No.
the bed when the nurses came
none
in.
of that. Well, you know.
I will tell one quick story though that it was a big turning point for me because, you know, Dana's mom and I have always got along. We have a great relationship, but I feel like her seeing me in the hospital, like actually, taking care of Dana and just like really, I don't want to say step it up because it wasn't like I wasn't doing that before, but I guess her just seeing our personal relationship that up close and personal,
Sure.
like, just made her.
It solidified it for her.
Yeah. She was like, okay, these crazy kids are made for each other or something.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Like that. I'm tiptoeing around. I feel like I don't want to make it sound like we had a bad relationship, but I feel like it just made us like have a much more respectful relationship.
Oh, we get
sure.
it. The bond.
Yeah.
And it gives you a bigger, a longer, or a more deep bond. I
Yeah,
guess, so to
maybe
speak.
she felt like she didn't have to stress out as much, or she knew that
Sure.
we were going to be able to do this together.
You're probably always worried about your kids, and then to see that you're really like that you're responsible, taking care, and all that is probably just an extra layer of reassurance. And plus, man, grandparent, is that her first grandkid? Mm-hmm. Like
It's a big deal.
this grandparent love, we could probably do a whole episode on that. Grandparent love is stronger than anything on earth, dude.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but like I don't know if my parents love me as much as they love my child.
Yeah, well,
That's true.
'cause they-
I'm going to go ahead and say they probably don't.
They
Yeah.
don't. No, they
It's
don't.
because they've lived through it. They know what you're about to go through. That child is linked to them in some way, and they have uncontrollable rage. Oh, shit.
Rage, uncontrollable. They have uncontrollable rage.
They have
Just-
full range to take care of this child, but they still don't have to keep it overnight
Yeah,
every night.
yeah,
I mean,
that-
it's the perfect thing for a grandparent.
Right.
You work this hard. You've grown children. Now it's time to have children, like highlights of children, and that's your reward.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking or speaking to something that's beyond that. Even it's just something. It's a bond between the kid and the grandparent that's unlike a parent and child relationship. And I don't know what it is. It's just from the get go though. I'm like, man, who are you people? And why do you love this
Where
thing?
did you come from?
Yeah, like where you been at?
If I would say you're right. If our children, if we all lined up, everybody in our family, like mom, dad, grandparents on both sides, and just line you up and have a kid walk over to one of you, I think 90% of the time it would be a grandparent.
Yeah, Mimi is mine
Yeah.
on my side.
We've got
Cat
Nan.
Cat. You don't know Nan?
Yeah, no, God. Did you just reference Trick Daddy?
I believe I did.
All right, cool. So in the hospital, you're going to get visited by the nurses and doctors multiple times. They're going to come throughout the night. You can't really get much sleep. Maybe an hour at a time, maybe.
And they will charge you for each doctor that pops his head in there just to say, hey, each doctor will charge you. That is true.
Pops his head in, Dr. Hay. What
Dr.
about
Hay?
Dr. Hay? Does he charge double?
Oh,
He's
God.
saying
Dude,
hey?
I'm still paying that bill. But each doctor, for real, each doctor that stops by, because each person's a specialist,
Yeah.
they will charge you.
Yeah. And the way to get around that, you're going to incur a little bit of money here to have a kid. I think the average is around $6,000 in the United States.
Is that just for hospital bills?
I think that's your birth, your hospital, but I think most of it's if you have insurance out there, most of it's covered by insurance. So
Right,
you're going to
yeah.
incur what, like $1,000 or
Well, no, I think
a couple grand.
Like, we probably paid about $5,000 to all said and done with stuff that insurance wouldn't cover, and then to get up to our deductible because we're all on high deductible health plans now because that's the new thing or whatever.
Sure.
JP Morgan.
Yep.
Paying that Titanic money.
He's still getting that Titanic money.
Yeah, I don't know how much ours was all said and done, but I feel like we were paying it forever. And then like some bill would come in from some specialist. I'm like, who is this guy? And they're like, oh yeah, remember he popped in and was like, hey, so you know, has he got all his toes?
If you're listening out there, you definitely want to get your finances in line. Prior to having a kid, it just helps, and it helps with the alleviation of all the stress that you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Also, the doctors come in, they charge you everything. You're there for 2 to 3 days. One suggestion, if I could make a suggestion, is, ooh, it's not me this week.
It was an alarm, not a ringtone. Sorry.
Okay, what do you have an alarm for it?
I don't know. Maybe
We're
something.
supposed to be done with this by now.
Yeah.
It might be it.
So if I could make one suggestion, it would be take as many of those well-known hospital blankets with you as you can. And they're the original swaddling blankets. And
They're the ones that they tell you not to take.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, hey, don't steal these.
Okay, so I saw a stack of them and I put them in our bag.
Oh.
Everybody knows these. They have like little duckies on them or something. Or they're like very specific to Baptist Hospital or St. Thomas, Midtown. And I obviously stole them. I did not realize that.
They gave us one, I think. They gave us one, and then they also gave you the
Intro to baby
wool cap
packet.
hat,
Oh,
or
yeah,
the
yeah.
little
Yeah, yeah.
knit cap that they're wearing. And
No,
then,
I just remember they told us to not take those swaddle blankets home specifically.
Probably because of people like us.
Did they set you up for pictures? Like they're like, hey, do you want your take some
That's a
pictures
good
with your
point.
baby?
We forgot to bring that up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a good setup for the rest of your life. Like, hey, you're gonna be paying for just random shit for your kids, so like, start now. Here it is.
Yeah, along with the doctors coming in every once in a while, you're gonna get a professional photographer who comes pitches you on the baby pictures, right?
And you can't
that
say no.
person, whoever's got that contract at the hospital, did it right.
Killing it.
Yeah.
They got to be, because who's gonna say no?
Yeah, I bought it. As soon as they open their mouth, they're like, baby pictures. I'm like, yep. I don't care how much it is. Here's my card.
You gotta do it.
Well, we still cherish those, and I think the photographer does a great job at probably any hospital you go to.
Yeah, I don't regret doing it at all.
We got to set our stuff up. Like we had some Predator stuff that we put him in. We moved his little fingers to do fang fingers for a Predators thing. I think we put like a mohawk cap on him at one point. So you're going to incur those. I can't remember how much those pictures are, but they're well worth it. And then that's it. I mean, it's pretty much, you get visited a few times. They teach you how to swaddle. They teach you kind of how to take care of a kid. And then that day you go home from the hospital, literally the nurse looks at you and says, you good with this? And you either have to say yes or no. I mean, it's a point.
Yeah, I remember asking, like, putting a kid in the car seat and being like, is he in there right? And they're like, yeah, it looks right. I'm just like, can you be a little less casual about it? Like,
This is an
can
intense
you
part.
at least pretend that you're expecting it or something? Like,
That's true. The nurse will walk you out to your car to make sure that you do things right.
Yeah.
But some of them obviously don't care as much as others. Or that's what it appears
I wouldn't.
to us.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's like she doesn't care. It's probably she's just already done that 10 times that day or whatever.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, but our kid was born in January, and it was like freezing outside, and it was like, so I pull up and we're putting her in there, making sure she's like, warm and everything, and it was very.
That's tough, man. Because there's nothing worse than putting a bundled up kid in a car seat.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
And
Did you go warm up the car first?
Yeah, and the ride home was just like, I did not want to clearly wreck or anything, but I was like, white knuckling it back home, like, oh God, don't let anything happen. And then we get into the house, and it's all right. So what do we do now? Like, what do we do? We just watch it? Do we just sit there with it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Were either of your parents or anybody there when you got home for the first couple of days?
Yeah, we had parents, because it's neither one of we're not from here, so neither one of our parents live here. They were down for a day or two, and then I remember thinking, it's so stupid now. We were like, we're going to try to do this ourselves. Like, we live here by ourselves. We need to try to be independent and do this on our own.
Sure.
And that lasted for like 2 days, because our kid like was colicky and just screamed a lot for this first several months of his life. So after like 2 days of that, we called, I can't remember if it was my mom or Dana's mom, but we were both just like, get the F down here.
We're about to shake this baby.
Well,
You were like,
it
dude.
wasn't like that, It was, even though
Did you call her dude? Were you like, dude, get your ass down here?
In that situation, I probably did because
Yeah.
I was that frazzled. Like,
I bet.
we were both just like, and also like Dana had a tough time. Like, breastfeeding was kind of tough, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but I just want to say that like breastfeeding is tough.
Right.
So, like, I feel like people just gloss over it and try to make you seem like it was just like an easy thing, but it's not an easy thing, and it's really hard for some people, and it's just they don't talk about that enough before you have the kid. I don't.
That's a really good point.
And
Maybe-
that's very
maybe that's-
stressful because then you're like, you don't know if your kid's getting enough food. Like, is he still hungry? Like, that was intense.
So maybe that goes back to episode 4, the prequel to this episode, which is when you're taking classes, you might want to look into a breastfeeding class.
Yeah, I mean, we took a breastfeeding class, but
Oh.
it's still that. Well, I'm sorry, we took it after the fact.
Sure.
Because I think before you don't know how it's going to go unless maybe you've had a kid before and you had either had issues
that's a
or
good point.
what, But I think you're just going into it being like, oh, I'm just going to pop this kid on and he's going to start eating and everything's going to be golden.
Right.
But it is 100%. I mean, it's probably like that for some people, but it is definitely not like that for everybody. I just want to put that out there. People be aware because I feel like people are embarrassed about it almost a little bit. Like they're ashamed that they're having trouble breastfeeding sometimes.
So we did have Stephanie's mom down here for the first couple of days, which alleviated me because I could continue to work. And those first couple of days, I did go to work because I actually took what the is now available in the future is paternity leave. It's where the dad gets a leave off of work to stay home with the kid. Now, it is still probably 99% unpaid, but I decided to do that, and I took I want to say a month off of work to stay home and help with that. So I continued to work through the first week, and her mom was down here helping. It's it helps the dad. It's one more thing that we get away with is
Absolutely.
like, we don't have to put as much effort into the first week or two.
Yeah.
And then because we can't really do much to help. I mean, we can help the mom, we can get things, but
you're picking it up in other. Well, I don't. Personally, I feel like I was picking it up in other ways. Like, obviously, I can't breastfeed the kid, but I can. Anytime his diaper is dirty, I can make sure that I'm on top of that.
Well,
like,
sure,
I'm not
yeah.
making. I just want her priority to be feeding this kid.
Oh man, diapers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still in diapers?
Is that a
With
real
your kid?
question? Oh,
With your kid? I'm with your kid, dude.
yes, we are still in diapers.
Are
He's
you?
2.
Okay, and we've been out of it for 2 years, so I'm like, whew, man,
Yeah,
it's
forgot
hard
about it.
The diaper genie and all that. I mean, I'm this close to never having to wipe a butt.
Yeah.
again,
That's great. You're almost free.
dude. Almost. I'm pumped. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to segue into that, but yeah,
That's
No,
okay.
that's we can definitely dive into that on part 3 too as well.
That would be
Episode
episode 6. So we really hope you enjoyed us just kind of spitballing today on episode 6.
Alive! It's
episode
alive!
Episode 5.
It's alive!
I'm going to do that again.
no,
I think we should stop calling it episode 5 too, because it's gonna be confusing.
I'm confused as hell.
Okay, so hold on. We really hope you enjoyed us throwing things around for the follow-up to What the Hell Did We Do, which covered the first 9 months, and now we've just covered kind of our stories and personal experiences with the hospital stay. And then just in true form, we are going to release a Return of the Jedi type episode, which will cover the first 9 months. When you got home to what did you do the first 9 months? Was it scary?
After.
Did you take off work? Did you, was there a little bit more effort involved? Obviously. And we
How
want
did
you
you
to,
try to get back to normal life?
yeah, and it'll yes, exactly. And it'll completely round out your experience for just pretty much, the first 9 months of the kid's life, 18 months of your life, going from
dude to dad.
dude to dad.
dude to dad.
Pretty much going from dude to dad.
Is that the segment? All 6 episodes of From Dude to Dad?
Yeah, that's what the title is, Star
Okay,
Wars.
I got you.
But
All
it's
right.
from dude to dad, and then we'll break down each episode.
Are you the Luke Skywalker character?
I am absolutely not. If
You
I were
are.
anybody, it would be Han Solo.
You kind of look like Luke Skywalker.
You've been saying that for years, and I've hated you for it every day.
I know. Well, it is what it is.
So I just want to end on saying, like, don't be afraid when you get home from the hospital. If people are offering help, don't be afraid to ask for it.
Yeah,
take
please
that
do.
help. Like you need to get some sleep. You need some sanity. You need just anything to relieve that stress because it's crazy.
You can't do it all yourself. And,
Exactly, and don't try to.
And if I would make an ending suggestion to the episode, it would be airplane bottles. They're small, and you can conceal them.
For your baby?
No, for the hospital stay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So airplane bottles for the hospital visit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
It's inconspicuous.
yeah, right. You're right.
It'll get
Okay.
you through. Do you have any final thoughts, Jerry Springer?
I believe kind of the same thing I was thinking on the other episode that we did is that we're scared of what we don't know, and clearly bringing that child home is a great unknown, but it's trust in yourself, trust in your partner. You know what to do. Everything's going to be fine. Yeah, take the help, take the meals, and enjoy it, man, because it's so nice and peaceful to have that baby home the first couple of days, and
It's not nice and peaceful for everybody, but yes, definitely
You're
enjoy
right.
it because it changes so fast.
It does. Nothing stays constant.
you're right.
So we hope you enjoyed the follow-up to, our parenting topic. We will come back with part 3 in a couple of weeks for you guys, so we hope you're ready for that.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, have a good one.
Wait a minute, this is released on Monday. Enjoy your week. We hope you guys enjoyed listening. If you don't have children,
Have one.
have one.
Catch up.
Yeah, we want you to know what we go through.
Yeah, the fear.